There we go. All right. Great. Okay, so lecture 2. Today we're going to do a lot more work. Again, as usual, concepts and ideas. But first, what about your exercises from last week? Questions? Tell me what's happened. We start with that. Every time we'll start with that, 10, 15 minutes. Then I'll get into the new material. Yeah, okay. So you pick the goal?
Okay, my goal is, I chose to use figures, so it would be 100 million rupees by the time I'm 30 years old.
Okay, and how did you come to that number?
It was based on how my family, I have a very big family, and what they were able to accomplish until they reached a very late stage in their life. So I'm assuming that since I have technology at my hands at the moment, I would be more efficient than them.
So you set your goal based on what your other family members had achieved?
As a group, yeah.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, they did this, so I'll copy them, or I'll do what they did.
I'm just setting a standard.
Yeah, but your standard is based on what other people did. But what do you want? Is it you just want to compete with them or match them? For what purpose? Is your purpose the same as their purpose? Right? I mean, it's good to have a number, but you need to know why that number. And, hey, all right. Well, we're just starting now, so you're okay. We're just now, any questions or about the exercises, the results of the exercises and the questions, all right? So we're just starting with Andrea. So you set the goal of 100 million, but you have to know why you set that number, and it has to come from you. And then what you're going to do with that money.
I am assuming that with this money, I will be able to get the experiences that I want to have in life without fearing for having the basic necessities and having things working well.
It's a good plan, but it's lacking detail. So we're going to work on really refining that number to get exactly what you need. Because your goal has to be precise and concise. In other words, I need to know exactly what I want and why I want that. Okay? All right, great. Or do you have more to say? Okay, cool.
My goal?
Yeah.
So, I want to become a successful entrepreneur. Why? Because I want the freedom that comes with it. I want to be free with money and time. Have money and time to do the things that I want. So I set it 5 years. By the time I'm 36, I don't want to work. It's the thing that I enjoy.
Okay, so, but you don't know how much money you're going to need, what you're going to do.
A net worth of 20 million.
Okay, you've got a number, good. Now when you say, I want to be an entrepreneur so I'm free, who's the richest man in the world? Elon Musk. Is he an entrepreneur? Yes. I don't know if you read what he said. He works, 120 hours a week? So being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you will be free. The freedom comes by deciding when to stop being an entrepreneur and do what you want to do. Or you could keep being an entrepreneur, all right? Just make sure you understand that being an entrepreneur may mean continuing to work, all right?
Not like a full-time job, like
Okay.
hours per week.
All right, but no, it's good. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just adding extra levels of thinking, okay? Did you get to do any of the exercise? You watched the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I have different goals. Like for why I started this course, in my family, everyone works. So if I need to have some advice on how a business should work, I can't get any advice. And if I want to ask someone an advice, you can't say like how can they give an advice if they're giving it in a good way or just saying like this? I don't know. So my goal is like to be better than I am today because I'm still young and I still have the time. So for 5 years, as you listed on the question, yeah, work and find the capital that would be needed to do. So I'm still trying to find what business that I will be willing to do because I have there's a lot of situation. I just need to find which will suit me better in my case.
Okay. I'm not going to answer you because the answer is today's material. So you'll get the answer as I start teaching instead of just talking now. Okay? All right, so good. Let's get going. Okay, so how setting goals and finding your goal. That's the topic for today. Now, one thing that people always say, go slowly, patient, slowly, okay? If you wait long enough, you will become dead through the natural passage of time, all right? An entrepreneur is not a patient person. We are not patient. We want it now. We push. Now, also, this is a good saying, if you patiently sit and wait, you will get someone else's leftovers. If there is a great sale on mangoes, there's only that many mangoes for sale. If you say, oh yeah, we'll be patient, it's okay, we'll go the end of the day, there'll be none left. So you have to know that your life success, the best things are limited and someone's going to be there first. So being patient, slowly, slowly, all of this. Anytime someone says that, say, no way. I am not wasting a minute because no matter what you lose, everything is somewhere in this world or in space, right? We've got a lot of stuff in space, but it exists. But there's only one thing that is gone forever, and that's time. This minute will never, ever, ever come back. So we have to be very impatient in ourselves and push and go and make use of every moment, all right? So I just want to counter that because too many people have this attitude of, be patient, you have time, you have time. I don't know if you know this movie, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Ever heard of that? Okay, fantastic movie. It's in India, this fellow starts he inherits from his father a little old hotel, and he makes it as a retirement home for very old people from UK, from England. So, they should come there and die because it's cheaper in India, and in England they can barely survive. So you have this basically residence home for old people. And there's this woman and a man, they're two individuals, but they clearly are falling in love, but they never actually breach that, and just keep it as friends, very polite British friends. Anyway, the lady, who's like in her 80s, right, has an Indian friend, a young Indian friend she's doing some things with, business with, and they're talking once, and the Indian says to her, Madam, what are you waiting for? Clearly you have something, why are you waiting? And she says, I just need a little more time. And he says, Madam, how much time do you have left? Right? How much time do you have left? So you have to think that, and an exercise I gave when I had my spiritual school for personal development is go into the cemetery and look at the gravestones and look how young some people died. Make it real. You could die today on your way home. So don't think just because you're young you have time, because we never know how much time we have. So be impatient. I want it now. Push now. Push gently for some people because they can't take it, but okay? So don't give up control to destiny. You have to be the lion making things happen in your life, all right? And yes, when opportunity is there, you've got to grab it immediately before somebody else. Okay. Now, remember I asked you, what is an entrepreneur? We were trying to define the entrepreneur. But let's define another word, enterprising. That's a better way to understand what is an entrepreneur. Because if you know it's enterprising means, oh, I just go and do things, right? That's an entrepreneur, someone who just goes and does things. It doesn't mean I own a business. It's being enterprising, creative, making new things happen, right? It's that personality that makes you the entrepreneur. And another very important quality, never, ever, ever give up. So even if the big bad company and the government, and people love criticizing governments, and they always say, oh, this is the worst country in the world, right? I don't know if you see on my TikTok, a lot of people making comments about the corrupt government, it's terrible here. So go to Nigeria, go to Somalia, go to Libya, you know, go and see, this is not so bad. So even if whatever it is trying to eat you, don't give up. As long as you're breathing, you have not lost. You have a setback maybe, but you've never lost. So just never, ever give up, no matter what the criticism, the things people tell you, the limitations, COVID, all of these rubbish that they control us with. Keep going. Don't give up. Okay? So there's just some thoughts I want to give you to start with today. So now we're going to get to today's material, how to get and stay motivated, how to choose the right product, but your true goals. Now, why I say your true goals, because people get goals that they see other people doing. Are you cold? Should I stop the air conditioner a bit? Blowing on you? You're good? You're good? You're good? You're good? You're good? You're all good? Okay. Nope, that's the that's the projector. Let me just turn this one off because it's cold on the bald head. Okay, your goals are coming from movies, superheroes, when you were a kid, parents, Elon Musk, whatever it is, the stories you read about this guy was Jack Ma. He was a school teacher and became, what, richest man in China, I think, right? And he was just a school teacher. So you read that, I can do that. I had a friend of mine, he would watch these stories about these, and he believed he's going to make $2 billion overnight, and this, they did it, I can do it. He's still trying, 40 years later, right? So your true goals, that's what we need to find, okay? And it begins with questioning your goals, and if they're really yours, were they your goals before you were born? Or the day you were born? What were your goals then? If you believe in reincarnation or a spirit or a soul, then yeah, the baby was worthless, right? Useless, but that soul maybe still had some ideas, right? What are your, and I'm just giving concepts, not saying right or wrong, but your true goals were when the day you were, before you were born, before you were conceived, before your parents told you what your goals should be, or society told you what your goals should be, okay? That's what we're going to try to find, all right? You won't find it necessarily today, but I'll give you enough that you can start to work towards finding it. Now, a first rule about achieving a goal is any goal is possible as long as it's reasonable and feasible, okay? So my goal is to win the lottery. That's not reasonable. That's not a good goal, okay? My goal is to make 100 billion US dollars. Well, that's not reasonable considering what I have now. But my goal is to make $10 million. Well, that becomes reasonable because it's not that much, perhaps. Is it feasible? Yes. In the last 10 years, trading on the stock market, I keep daily accounts, I've made over 7 million. So in the last 10 years, I started with 100,000 and I made 7 million. So I turned 100,000 into 7 million in the last 10 years. Lost a bit, but that was the earnings. So if I want to make 10 million, It's reasonable and feasible based on what I've done, what I can do. All right? So you can achieve any goal as long as it's reasonable and feasible, which means you can't achieve any goal. There are goals you won't be able to achieve. So you've got to pick your goal based on, this is what I want. Okay, is it reasonable and feasible? Then your subconscious mind says, yeah, we can work on that. But if you pick something that is not reasonable or feasible for you, your subconscious mind says, okay, I'm going to take a nap and you go waste your time because I'm not going to bother putting in my effort to something that we know we cannot achieve. Okay? So we've got to get the subconscious mind behind us by making it that kind of a goal. So you can question, what is my goal? Do it all day, all night, all the time. What is my goal? Pick any goal. It could be, I want to be an astronaut. And then say, well, is it reasonable or feasible? And depending on you, I mean, you're 20, 21, maybe it's possible, I don't know. But whatever your goal, pick all kinds of goals, because the exercise is to learn how to determine reasonable and feasible. So you pick any kind of goal and analyze it, just to train your mind how to think when you see something, is it reasonable or feasible? Okay? So it's not necessarily to find your real goal. It's just to be able to develop that analytical aspect of seeing what's reasonable, what's feasible. This is for you to find your goal, but more importantly, this helps you not get cheated. Because when I tell you, I've got this great investment, and you give me your money, and I'm going to give you 50% return per year. And that sounds good. And I'll be a great salesman, and I'll really convince you that it's 100% legitimate, totally upfront and wonderful. But if you've trained your mind to be reasonable and feasible, you'll say, well, look, is it reasonable? You'd say, is it feasible? Yeah, some people have invested and made that money. Is it reasonable based on what he's telling me? So when you practice this exercise and your mind automatically now in the future analyzes everything, if it's reasonable and feasible, nobody can cheat you or trick you. Well, maybe someone will if they're really good. But most things, you won't get tricked anymore. And your self-confidence, every time you believe in something and you lose, you get tricked. And then other people will say, but it was obvious. And you think about it, yeah, but it was obvious. How could I be that stupid? Your self-confidence goes down. But every time you catch and you don't get tricked, your self-confidence goes up. Okay? So this has a lot of value beyond just working towards finding your goal. It's developing a much stronger personality and a mind that no one can trick you. And you'd be surprised about how useful this is. Like, for example, there's a great sale on fruit or on something in the grocery store. And the sale is incredible, really great price. So you think about it, is it reasonable for them to sell instead of 100 rupees a kilo for 2 rupees a kilo? Is that reasonable? Can they make money on it? No. So then there's got to be something wrong. And you don't just grab it because it's on sale. You think what could be wrong. You find out if it's, maybe gone rotten or something, or there's bugs inside, and then you don't waste your money. Okay? So it could be as simple as that, shopping in the grocery store. It's really important when you're shopping for a car or some bigger purchases, okay? So this is a very important, let's say, habitual mental process to see everything and then analyze, is it reasonable or feasible that this, whatever is being presented. Okay, is that clear? Yeah.
Concerning the goals, should we be working on one goal only, or can
With this exercise? No. Pick as many goals as you want, as many ideas. Yeah. Just pick anything so that you say, I would like to do this. And just then think, is it reasonable or feasible? And if it is, good, then it might become a goal you can work on. But this exercise is not about finding your goal, it's about just training your mind to always be analytical and objective. Okay? That's what this is. This one. All right? Okay. It's good? Clear? Okay. Now, getting more now. Then the next slide, we're going to start to get more into your personal goals. So here, the foundation of reaching your goal, do the best you can for the sake of doing your best. All right? So if somebody does a half-assed job, halfway job, you're not going to respect them. You're a lazy, incompetent idiot. Okay? So you'll think of yourself the same way. If you do a halfway job, your subconscious is going to know that you're lazy, you're not skilled, you're not good. Okay? So it's very important, do the best you can, just to do the best. So you're proud of what you did. You're proud of yourself. I am a worthy human being. I am better than everybody else. Because when you go in, let's say there's 100 carpenters and everybody is working on this big project and they always do halfway job, you know, a nail is sticking out, a screw is crooked, whatever it is. But your little part is perfect. You're better than them. And you're proud of yourself for that. Because I care. And anybody looking at the work will say, who did that? That's the person I want to work with. Okay? So you will not respect anyone who does a halfway job, so you have to be careful what you think of yourself, because your subconscious is watching all the time. And that will mean, if your subconscious will help you achieve your goal. Now, right now, your goal is to find your goal. I mean, that's your goal right now. Your goal is to find your goal. Now, if you are a half-ass in all your work, and you're not really better than anybody else, and you don't really do good quality, and you don't put your full effort in, your subconscious is going to say you're not even worthy of finding a goal because you're not going to work well enough to achieve it. So that's where the subconscious comes in to say, I can't even find what to do. It's not because you can't find something, it's because you subconsciously are not worthy of achieving a great goal. Okay? And when we talk about subconscious and self-worth, self-esteem, that's an infinite scale, right? So you could have a little bit of self-esteem or a lot of self-esteem. So when I talk about that, just remember, you're more confident than he is. But you still have a little bit of lack of self-esteem. So it doesn't matter how much, what level our self-esteem is, it's just, it needs to be better, always. And we have to always live in a way that we feel super powerful, like a lion. I am confident, nobody messes with me, because I'm worthy of it. Two lions, the male lions will fight to see who's going to win the pride, right? Win the females. And the one who loses will sulk away because he's not worthy, because he's not good enough. So he's going to sulk away. So if you don't do your best all the time, you know you're not worthy of being the king, of getting that job instead of 100 other applicants. So that's why it's so important now, everything you do, make sure you do it the best you can. That includes writing, typing. Do you type with a lot of typos and don't correct your spelling? All right? I sent a text to one of the Apple dealers here, and it was a very simple 2-line text. Do you have the Ultra Watch 2, and how much does it cost? And they did respond, yes, we have it in stock. Okay. So then I have to send another text. And how much does it cost? Okay? So that person, if it is the same person who responded, must feel like an idiot if they're aware of their actions, because it's 2 questions. Do you have it? How much? In one line, one sentence, and they couldn't answer completely. Okay? So that's what I mean. When I say do the best you can, it's even, are you answering an email? Are you answering a text message? Everything. Be awake, aware, and do the best you can. Okay? You get to what degree we need to do that. All right? And then it'll change how you feel about yourself. When you don't make mistakes, when you don't say, how could I be that stupid? Right? Okay. All right, now we're going to get some feedback from you. What matters most in your life? So now we're not talking about your business goal, your interim goal by the time you're 30 or 25. For your life, what matters most in your life? So when I say achieve as your legacy, so when you're dead at your funeral, people will say, wow, he achieved this. You know, that sort of thing. Like if they say Elon Musk died, they're not going to say Elon Musk died. They're going to say Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, you know, builder of Tesla died, right? That's his legacy. He built this great company, for example. I mean, you know. So what matters most in your life? What do you want to leave as your legacy? Don't even know? Are you shy, or you really don't know what is that important to you?
Yes, what matters most in my life is becoming the best version of who I can be. What I want to achieve as a legacy.
Okay, so I want to be the best person I can be, okay? Totally vague, right? Nobody can understand what that means. Now you may or you may not. So you've got to have precise clarity. When you say the best person you can be, now describe that person. What are the personality traits, the character, the skills of the best person you can be? Does it mean I can go for a month without getting anybody upset because I'm that careful about what I say? Does it mean I can meditate for 14 hours in perfect concentration, right? Whatever it is, you need precise details, a description of what that person would be like. So that's the first list. Now the second column is, why am I not that way yet? So I need to practice more. Okay, so now I know I need to do more meditating every day so I can sit for 14 hours. I need to be more careful about what I say so I don't just talk without thinking where I insult people. Okay? So that's your exercise now for this week. A perfect description, very detailed of what that person is, and then why am I not there already? What do I need to do to become, each point by point? All right? You have a goal?
I think it would be to become, confidence-wise, the person who can make whatever I want happen.
So you want very strong confidence in yourself.
Yeah, personality-wise.
Okay, but confidence doesn't mean you can make anything happen. So when you say you want the confidence that you can make anything happen,
The ability to make anything happen. Yeah.
okay, all right. So you see, feasible and reasonable also means, does it make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. We got to get clarity. Okay, so you want the skill to make anything happen. That's pretty big skill, isn't it? Anything?
No, not anything, but anything that I would want to happen.
Okay. And can we narrow that down to what you would like to happen?
For example, if I want tomorrow to set up a company, I want to take actions as from today.
Okay.
Does it come with experience, or do you just take actions and see where it goes?
Depends on the situation. Action, and then what is action? Action could be going out and buying a property, or action could be reading a book to learn how to build a nuclear power plant. I mean, it could be anything. So it depends, action is very different depending on the situation. But you want the confidence to be able to do, or the skill to be able to do. What exactly is your goal again? Rephrase it.
For example, but my examples are not in the business setting because
Remember, this is for your life. Has nothing to do with money or business.
for example, there are things that my dad wanted to achieve that he has not been able to achieve for certain reasons, but I know other people as his peers who have been able to make things happen for what they desire to happen. And now I want to be this type of person to make, for example, I'm just thinking about the privacy of my relative, but let's say if I want to take on a project, I want the confidence to say I will do it, even though if I'm not able, I don't already know what the exact steps are, and then to make this project of excellent quality.
Okay. Now, the confidence to be able to take challenge.
Yeah.
Good. To guarantee success, that we cannot always do because there's too many external factors. So if you want the confidence to take on any project, you have to know that you will do everything you can to succeed, but reality is, life is not always as we want it, but that you will do everything it takes. Now that comes from practicing what I said about do the best you can for everything you're doing, okay? So you need to achieve that goal, that confidence, you have to prove to yourself that you really can and will work the best you can on everything you do. So start watching yourself. Do you take on anything and really do your best? All right? So subconscious is a judge, and then we have the two sides of the court case. One says, I want to do this, and the other says, nah, you're never going to do it. You're weak, you're stupid, you're lazy, whatever it is. So then they fight. No, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. No, you won't, you won't. And the judge is sitting there, that's your subconscious, saying, well, I don't know who to believe. Where's the evidence? Show me proof. So if you want the confidence, you have to start keeping a record of, I want to do this, how well did I do it? Did I complete it? So document things to prove to your subconscious that you can and will follow through with anything you desire, whatever it is. And it could be learning to cook Italian food. And it could be learning to sew clothes. It could be anything. I made, this weekend, I wanted a holder for my phone with a charging station for the watch and the phone. And so I figured out how to do it, and I got a nice glass block for the base and aluminum stands, and I bent them in the right shapes, and I figured out how to do it. So I know through this thing that now sits on my table that I am capable of building a very nice phone charger station. Okay? I have evidence. So that's what you have to do. Anything you want, make a note. I want to do this. Okay, then follow in a few days or a week or whenever. What did you actually do towards it? To prove to yourself that you will do this. That'll help build your confidence. Okay, that's a start for that. Sorry, your turn.
What matters most in my life is like obviously happiness, good health, to be surrounded with good people, to actually have when many people have a certain way to do like business, like maybe a car wash. Okay, so if you want to do a car wash, you need to have like a different kind of experience. Maybe you don't have it, but you have a purpose and have a good location, maybe near a mall or whatever. So if you don't have the experience, you might have been surrounded with other people who have the same business to maybe help you to get an idea of how to do it better, to be able to have your clients. So I have already like have a good skill on social media for my marketing and thing, because on the question of what you want to achieve as your legacy, it's not like basically my legacy I wanted, but I am a gamer that represented Mauritius over like 6 times. Went to Bali, represent Mauritius there. So I've been achieving on gaming since 2019 and still stay on top till now. So I already like all my like the money I achieved, I did not like waste the money. I bought myself a car. I tried to start a business which did not succeed. So yeah, I'm just trying to find a good path to actually have to follow the right movement.
Okay, see, that's still just in this life. We need to find that goal for my life. You need to think about that on the day you die, you're about to die, do you want to look back and say, I didn't really achieve anything great, or I'm satisfied with the life I lived. I'm happy what I did. You've got to think more about that goal. That's a very important thing, because people can't find their, like you have, let's say, interim goal and life goal. Life goal when you die, okay, or for your whole life. It's hard to find an interim goal to do during your life if you don't have a reason for living. This goal for your life, it's your reason for living day to day to continue through the challenges of the interim goals. Okay? So you've got to think more about that. What is your goal for your life, your reason for living? Okay? So just give that some thought for the week. All right? Okay. Now, faith is a very powerful emotion. We know that. But it only works if your mind believes it's possible. All right? So whether it's the little goals or your life goal, you've got to see, first just see, do you really believe it's possible? So that's the feasible and reasonable. But with what we've said just up to now, to be thinking that, is it really possible to achieve that? So you need to be very honest with yourself, all right? So just adding this to what all these slides we've said so far, all right? So you've got to have the faith that it's possible. To be possible, you have to know exactly what and where it is, right? You want to go to a gaming competition. I said, there's a great international gaming competition. You must join. And you say, great, where? I don't know. How are you going to go? You don't know where it is. You know what you want, but you don't know where it is. Okay? So it's not just knowing what you want. You need to know where it is, how you can achieve it. All right? So just adding these little details, you know, having a vision board with pictures of a mansion and a jet and this and that doesn't help you at all if you don't know how to get it, right? So we need the extra details. So from that, we're going here. Now, money is great, but why do you want it? What will you do if you get it? All right? So these are, you know, it's still similar, but see if you can answer this way. Why do you want the money and what will you do if you get it? So I mean, you can think of something. It's harder to work with what you've said because you don't have the life goal in that, but you're doing things. So what are you going to do when you get the money? If you can achieve any project, anything you want, great. What happens when you've achieved it? Then what? Is it just for your ego or what? Okay? And if you want to be the best person you can be, and then what? Is it you want it, I just want to reach that on the day I die, and then I don't have to think further. But if I want to achieve it by the time I'm 40, and then what? Why do I want that? What am I going to do when I get it? All right? So in your monetary goal, why do you want the money? Why do you want your life goal? What will change in your life once you have achieved that goal? Okay? So do you have any ideas? What do you want and what will you do? Why do you want it and what will you do when you get it? I'm waiting, or are you waiting for me to pick on you individually, or?
I want money to have the time and money freedom life.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to use that, practice and learn as many sports that I can.
Okay.
And as many as I can.
Okay, so you want freedom to do. Okay, again, more detail. Think about more details when you're thinking about it during the week. Okay, not as many as I can. Pick 5. Pick 5 things. All right? So you want to be able to do anything you want. Okay, so you can do anything you want. And then what? What's the point? Why?
When I'm thinking about how my family member led his life, he came from poverty and transcended social classes in order to keep his family safe. And now how he's continuing on is protecting his independence. For example, if there is a major health emergency, he will be able to tackle it on his own. So I think that there would be a similar idea in which after getting the money, I would feel protected in this sense.
So are you just trying to be like him? Because it sounds like you said, well...
He's like one of my examples, that's why
Okay.
I think about it.
All right. Just be careful you're doing something for you and not to respect or honor somebody else.
Yeah.
Are you choosing for yourself or just for him to feel proud? Okay? Yeah, be careful. Just think about that. Make sure your answers are really that it's what I want because I think it's good. So that means there's no more reference to another person. It's the thing itself, all right? So if you can achieve, but so you can now, you have the confidence, you can do any business you want, and you'll succeed at it. So now that you can do anything you want, is the point just so you'll have independence and money and freedom if something happens, or is there another reason? What would you do after? Because you know what? It gets really boring once you could do everything.
Yeah.
Because once you're the master of the world, then life isn't a challenge. It's not interesting. So if you've mastered that, then what? What will you do after?
For now, I'm just thinking about what I want to experience with
Okay.
the freedom. So,
Good. Then make that list this week.
okay.
Okay? Make that list. Don't leave it vague. Make it very clear. Okay?
So, why do you want it? To be able to start a new project, like the project I have, yeah, it's big because you know in Mauritius, if you have list, many people actually love cars. So Saturday night there's many car gather around, so they try to race on road called Verdun in Mauritius.
I don't know it, but I'm sure, yeah.
So if there would be the first racetrack ever in Mauritius, I know that it might take time and a lot of money. So it would be a success because no one actually do it. And there's many people that in 1 month there's 2 times they're making trucks, but they don't have the road to be able to make the cars to do it. They just do it like this. And yeah, so if I get the money, it's about starting a good project for me that I think is going to work.
Good. Okay, so you can, well, we're going to get to that, analyzing the costs and all of that, but that's a good project. So that's what you want to do. You want to make the money to be able to build the track so people will have a good place where they can race.
So it depends. The track it must be like, you must have a license for it. It must be,
Yeah. That's okay, Catherine. Welcome. Yeah,
yes, so the government must let you to do.
of course.
There's many things that need to be done besides money. So if ever have the permit to do it, why not?
Okay. All right, that's good. So once you get, let's say you do it, you succeed, you get the track, then what? Just run it, or what would you do next with your life? What will you do with having that?
So it depends because on track and motion, there's many people come on board to participate in competition. So why not collab? Even in gaming, like
Yeah.
they do it worldwide, but in Mauritius our connection is poor. Like we are more based in Middle East than in Asia, but the connection under the sea for fiber is passed to Asia. So that's why our connection is not good on the Middle East on things.
Okay.
So why not collab?
Okay. So you've got pretty big plans to just increase services, opportunities for the country, and one will lead to another to another. Okay, that's good. That makes it easier. You have some clear ideas. Okay, so we can build on them. All right. So, okay, maybe we'll just continue, Catherine, and then you'll jump in after, okay, and you'll see the video. The video is still recording, right? Okay. Okay, cool. So let's move with that. All right, so you know what to do. You got to keep thinking about this. Make your lists very clearly, all right? Okay, cool. Now we get to some financial analysis, all right? Got a half an hour, should be able to do that. All right, so now we're on like a different topic. Now we're purely numbers, purely about money. How much is rich to you? So we have different numbers. A lump sum, 100 million rupees, whatever it is, okay? Monthly passive income, 2 million, I don't know how much, I'm thinking in dollars. Okay, let me talk in dollars. All right, lump sum, $5 million. Monthly passive income, $20,000. All right, how many years do you expect to live? I've got about 40. All right, so think of these numbers now for you. What's your lump sum? What is a monthly income you would like to have? And how many years you expect to live? So yeah, just tell me what numbers you have for that. You know your numbers already?
I'm still thinking about it.
Okay.
Because there's one more project on gaming, but I did not mention it.
No, but never mind the projects. This is just for your life. What amount of money? This is not about businesses or ways to make it. Just to have a goal so that we get that clarity for our subconscious mind. Okay? So this has nothing to do with what you want to do, what your business idea is. Just how much money do you need? Okay? So we know where your mind is. Again, it's to get that reality check. So the subconscious can get behind making things happen. Because you'd be amazed. Okay, you can believe this or not, but let's say, okay, my life experience. We don't think for ourselves. Our thoughts are controlled by invisible spiritual beings. They make ourselves think things, do things, turn left, turn right, get you distracted so you miss opportunities, all right? Now, when your subconscious is strong enough, it can, let's say, work with those invisible beings who make other people do things to make things happen for you to get what you want. Now, your ability to work with that, and we can just call it universal energy or subconscious mind, your ability to work with that is directly proportional to your clarity of mind, that your mind knows what it wants, knows where you're going, okay? So my exercises are to give you that clarity in every different aspect of life. That's why this question isn't about what you do. It's just purely to know how much is rich to you so that you don't have any thoughts of vague answers. So every question in your mind, every aspect of your life, if anyone asked you, that's it. You're right there with a precise answer. I can answer. I mean, $10 million, $20,000 a month, 40 years. And it's not because I know this, but I've always known those numbers. Okay? So, okay, you got your numbers, or you need to think about it still? Okay? So, what are your numbers?
50 million rupees lump sum.
Okay.
And 200,000 monthly.
Okay.
And 80 years.
80 years. 80?
80.
80. Okay, so you'll be 101. You said you're 21 now. That's okay. I'm going over 100 too. So, you have your numbers?
200,000 for 1 year, 8,000 for each month, and 68 years.
Okay, great. Okay. You're still thinking? It's okay. All right. Do you know what amortize means? Okay, you know what amortize? Okay, amortize means if I have a fixed amount of money at a fixed interest rate over a fixed number of years, I know exactly how much I have to pay or I will earn every month for that original amount to end up as zero. Okay, so if I have $1 million and I'm collecting 3% or I'm paying 3% interest over 20 years, it gives me $5,500 a month. Okay? So now you can go online, just Google amortization calculator, and you'll put in your total amount of money, and you'll put in the number of years, and today we can say, long term, we can say 7%. So you can put 7%, so you put that money in the bank. So I have $1 million in the bank. Okay, I made this a while ago. At 3%, 20 years to live, I will have $5,500 a month, and in 20 years, I have nothing left. So I use my money for 20. Okay, you follow what that is? All right, so put in your numbers into the amortization calculator at 7% and see if they match up. So put in your total amount, lump sum. My phone is recording the video, otherwise I would do it for you. But you can do that. So you put in the lump sum, you put 7%, you put the number of years, and now look at your monthly payment. How much will that match what you want for your monthly amount? Okay.
I didn't put
Yeah, but you need to have a, well, it's a question, it's okay, you don't need the per year. I mean, you can work backwards, okay? So what you do is you keep changing, because I think in the calculator you have to put the lump sum, and then it'll show you the monthly or the annual. So all you do is keep changing the lump sum until your annual gets to the number that you want. You know, you can use it that way. Then you know how much money you need. Now, if you have your lump sum and you do this and it shows your monthly income is much higher than what you want, you know you can lower your lump sum. Or vice versa. If your monthly is lower, you need to increase your lump sum, okay? So this is important because this becomes your clear financial target for your life, okay? So we don't know what we're going to do to get it, but now we know what you want to achieve in your life as a human being. You now know how much money you need to achieve in your life, okay? And that's your lump sum. Now, if you go back and say you're going to live 68 years or 80 years, and I need that much money over that much period of time, now, the sooner I get that money, the better off I am, right? Because you don't have that money today, right? But now you know how much money you need to retire, your financial goal. So if I am going to live another 40 years, all right, but it's going to take me 20 years to reach my goal, then I can only enjoy 20 years. So I need to achieve that goal in 5 years so I can enjoy 35 years, right? So once you know your target amount and you know how many years you expect to live, that means you've got to see what's reasonable and feasible to earn that money as quickly as possible. Because that's not your target amount for when you die. That's your target amount so that you can be now free. Okay? So now you know how much you need and how much you need to live on. Okay? Now, in my case, what I've set up, and this you might find also, is that the amortization means you have nothing left at the end of your life, right? But the probability is you're not going to spend that amount every month. So in my case, I do my calculations every week or every month just to see my position. So I do it this way, but with my investments now, I did a 10-year calculation. I'm going to have about 75% more money in 10 years than now because I don't spend my monthly income because it's so big, okay? So this exercise is just to give you clarity, focus, a number to work with. But if you tell anyone, they're going to say, yeah, but what if you live longer? You'll have no money left, right? Don't worry about that. You will have more money because you won't be spending that much every month, okay? That's just like a little comfort in case anyone tells you this calculation is flawed because you might run out or live longer, all right? But precise amount. So you've got your life goal, you've got your financial goal, a fixed number, a fixed income. Now your mind is getting clearer. And when that number is reasonable and feasible, your subconscious will wake up. Because right now, your subconscious is not fully with you because you don't have that clarity. It might be with you 50%, 70%, 80%, but you want it 100%, okay? So when we get these clarities, the subconscious does things that you can also call it intuition, right? Do you ever get an idea that pops in your head that you never had thought of before, but it's an idea to solve a problem or something to do, right? And that just happens once in a while. But once you've got clarity like this and you get your subconscious with you 90%, those intuitions come much more frequently. And that's when you take a leap beyond a normal human being to something more than just human. because you'll get so many more ideas and able to solve many more problems a lot quicker and more creatively. It'll be super interesting to see if your gaming abilities increase. That'll be fun to see. Huh? No, I'm saying doing these exercises, if you get even better at your skill. Because, you know, if your intuition increases, your reflexes increase also. So it will be fun to see if that works. Okay, now business. Now we're talking about the business to do. What business can you do? Everybody says, find what you love. All right, great. If you can find what you love, lovely, great. But a lot of people can't find what they love, or they love too many things. So we're going to find what you hate, what bothers you. Now we all know what Velcro is, right? Okay. So Velcro was invented by a Swiss engineer who used to go hiking in the mountains with his dogs, and these prickly weeds would stick to his dog's fur or to his clothes. And of course, it's a problem. You have to pick them off your clothes and pull it out of the fur. So being an engineer, he decided to look at the engineering, how these things work, and he found what they have are these little hooks at the end of the stick on the thingy, and it hooks onto the loops in the clothing or in the fur. And there he figured out Velcro. So this guy became super, super rich and has helped the world. If you think of how many places we use Velcro, that is an amazing service to the world. So, and he got rich by finding what he hated. So, if you don't know what business to do, your exercise for this week is to start thinking of what you hate, what bothers you, what frustrates you, what is good but could be better. Okay? For example, this control has a display, this control doesn't, right? It's much better with a display, right? Now, why did one company figure out putting a display? Because somebody said, I hate these remote controls. I never know what's going to happen. It needs a display. So he invented a display. Okay? That sort of thing. So anything you think you can do better. Make your list, as many items as you can. Next week we'll go through them and start to say, oh, how can you make this work or how not? Okay? So that'll be something we'll do next week when you have your list. All right? So make that list. All right. Oh yeah, anything. Yeah. Well, for example, Andy, he lives in Singapore now. He's actually in Saudi recording the sound for the international golf tournament. So you have a New Zealand boy who was trained, his education was to be an elementary school teacher. And this is like really bottom job, you know, you don't make much money, your life is just boring and dull, you're dealing, sorry parents, but you're dealing with 5-year-olds all the time, and that must be so boring. Anyway, I don't like, you know, so instead he became a sound recordist. He built his business so much. He moves to Singapore, he's living in Singapore, he gets a job in Saudi, he goes all over the world with these jobs. It's an amazing, exciting life, right? Now why? Because he provides a service. He records sound. It's not a product. But he does it so much better than other people. He improves on the competition that he gets many great jobs and made a lot of money. Right? So what bothered, like for example, one of the things that bothered me about New Zealanders is they price fix. So everyone charges extremely high prices and they all fix it. So anybody in that business offers the same price. So they do it so they don't, you know, nobody gets more. They all have a equal chance and they all make a lot of money by all fixing the price. And that's unfair to the customers. So I told Andy, don't do that. Give a cheaper price. Make something better for the customers where you give great service, you're proud of what you do, and you get it at a lower price. And he got all the business. Okay? So what we didn't like was price fixing, overcharging customers, that's an injustice, So we counteracted that with offering lower prices. See, so it can be very simple, but list anything you don't like, whether it's a product, a service, an attitude. You know, people, they say, okay, it's going to be like this. Then they change their minds. Or then they don't do it, or they change the plan, or whatever happens. So you get in that business and you become perfectly reliable, and then you'll get all the business, okay? So make your list as many things, it doesn't matter what it is, because then we work with that next week to again train you in a new ability of analysis, all right? Now here, how to identify if a project is good for you? Again, we're talking purely business now, all right? So these are the questions you have to analyze it. So you have a business, right? What is the reason you want to do this business or this project? So you first have to think of, why do I want to do it, right? I offer you a business. Let's make a racetrack. Okay, why do I want to do it? Think of why you want to do it. I can make a lot of money. I like using it. For example, I want to open a restaurant making sushi. Why? I love sushi. Okay, so I'm going to eat all my profits. I'll be there all day eating, okay? Or my gems and minerals store. I had a business called Atlantis. It was a shop that sold crystals, you know, amethyst, quartz, all these minerals and crystals. Why did I want to start that project? Because I loved the crystals. I thought, this is amazing. But how could I have a massive collection? That would cost a huge amount of money, and where would I put it all? So I wanted to build Atlantis, so I had a huge shop, and I could spend my life traveling around the world, buying stones, collecting them, and have this massive collection that's always changing, because it's a store people are buying, and then I'm getting new stock. So that's why I wanted to do Atlantis, all right? Now, to make money, yes, I wanted to make money. Photo Flash, my photo stores. I had stores where you developed the pictures in 1 hour when we used to use film, okay? So let's say photography store. I did that because I wanted to make a lot of money so that I could buy my own airplane, travel around the world, retire young. So Atlantis was because I wanted the big collection. It wasn't just to make a profit. The Photo Flash, photo stores were just to make money, okay? So you need to know why you want to do whatever it is. Now, is it to serve the purpose? So for my family, for the world, I want to do charity. Okay, so if that's your reason, is it really a reason? I mean, is that really the reason? Or is it because I want to be famous? I want people to love me. I want people to think I'm great. I want to have a big ego and feel like I'm so good. I help all these people and I help my family and I make people think, oh, David is amazing. He does so much for us. Okay? So is it ego? Is it to say, I really don't think I'm a good person, but if I made a lot of money and I helped my family and I did a lot of charity, then I would feel like a good person. Okay? So I'm showing you how to analyze your motivations so you know if this is the right thing to do or not. So these are just questions you have to ask yourself. And is it just so you have something to do so you don't get bored? Now, again, in New Zealand, especially, this one frustrated me so much, coffee shops. Beautiful little cafe, nice seating, good coffee, good snacks, sometimes on the sea with a beautiful view, and they close at 4 in the afternoon. But this is such a nice place to sit for the afternoon, watch the sunset in the evening, and this. They close at 4 o'clock, many of them, or 6 o'clock. Why? Because that is a favorite business for rich people who made a lot of money, retired, but they're bored, so they make a business just to have a hobby. Okay? So is it to make money, or is it just to have something to do as a hobby? You need to know, because the outcome will be determined. Because those cafes that close at 4 in the afternoon never make a lot of money. So if your intention is just to have something to do, but you also need to make money, you've got to make it very clear in your subconscious what's your reason to do it. Am I doing it to make money? So how serious do I take it? Am I doing it just to have fun more than to make money, and the money is a benefit? Then do I care about money? Do I have enough money from another source? Right? So we've got to be very clear. And then, of course, the worst one is just to show off. All right? Just for the ego. Okay? So once you've questioned yourself, then you know, is this really a project I should do? Okay? So you're going to look at many business opportunities, many projects, and you need to know if you should do it or not. And unfortunately, if you go to an accountant or a lawyer, they're just going to do a financial calculation. But what about your emotions, your feelings, your enjoyment of life? All right? That's a very important part of your success. And to me, that's more important. You've got to be happy. You don't want to be like my accountant in Montreal. Every time I saw him, he's complaining, he's miserable. I hate this business, I hate this business, I hate it. So stop. I like how much money I make. He was miserable. I know another guy, he said, for 30 years, in our office, my desk was facing my partner's desk, and for 30 years, we hated each other's guts and hated sitting there looking at each other. But we were making about $25 million a year business. So he stayed for the money, but he was miserable. The world is different. Your generation now cares more about life, the quality of your life, all right? So when you're analyzing a business, if you go to older people, accountants, advisors, business consultants, they're just going to do the financial analysis. You need to do this analysis to make sure it's right for you so that you enjoy your life and make money. Okay? So that's very important. All right. So here's a lot of questions. Okay. And here is your financial analysis. How to do, once you did that other one and you said, yes, this is a good project, I will do this project. Now we have to do our own financial analysis. Never take the advice of somebody who will profit from your loss. Remember that. That means if you go to the lawyer and you say, write the contract, he will make more money if you've got a problem because you've got to come back to him. If you go to the accountant and he does his analysis and then you have financial problems, you've got to go back to him to help you out. So you need to know how to do the most basic analysis yourself. Not, sorry, you're an accountant. No offense, right? It was so funny. There's something going on in a big project, and then one of the other partners, let's call him, is a lawyer. And I'm saying the developer isn't doing the job properly. We need to get an engineering firm to be as a consultant to do the analysis of costs of repairs. And the lawyer said, I don't trust consultants because they often overcharge and just set you up to need their services later. And I'm just thinking, that's what lawyers do. You know, and he's a lawyer, right? So you need to know how to do things yourself. So let's do a financial analysis. So total setup costs. And this is it. You will know if this is a financially viable business or not. So you've picked the business. What's the total setup cost, right? What do I have to buy? What equipment do I need? Renovate a store, whatever it is. Easy enough. 1 year total fixed expenses. So that's zero income. What is my rent? What salaries do I pay? How much do I have to pay for electricity, phone, whatever it is? Okay, easy. So now you know your total risk capital. This is how much you are risking in 1 year. Assuming you build it, you set it up, you buy it, you operate for a year, and you have zero income. That's how much you are risking. Now, you take all the potential revenue. So how much can you make in 1 year? So let's say I'm I'm developing pictures, right? The films. Each sale is roughly $10. So how much will I make per sale? So my total potential revenue, how many rolls of film would I develop? I make $10 each. So if I'm going to do, let's say, 200 rolls a day, $10 each, $2,000 a day, okay? So whatever it is, depending on your business, what will be your total potential revenue, okay? Take that and divide per sale average profit by your 1 year cost. So if I make $10 per profit per sale and I have a total cost of $1 million, I need 100,000 sales. Okay, all right? So that's the next step. So I know that my total cost, I know I need 100,000 sales to break back my total cost, okay? So that means I need 100,000 customers or repeat customers for the 1 year. Now, is that realistic? Can I make 100,000 sales in a year? And that's how you have to just work out for your business, whatever your numbers are. All right? Then if that's realistic, now I know if it's worth the risk. Okay? But that is recovering all your investment in 1 year, which is not realistic. Or I should say, is not reasonable. Because if I'm buying a property or I'm buying a car, it's going to last 5 years. I don't need to pay for it in the first year. It's good if you do. But if it works out, then that's great. It's a wonderful project because I know every year now I can make a hell of a lot of profit, right? But now we have to be realistic. So if I get half the customers, 50,000, and I give up after 1 year, then I know that if my total cost, was $1 million, I get half the customers, I made $500,000. I know that in 1 year I quit, I lose $500,000. So am I willing to lose $500,000? Or is it worth the risk of $500,000 to say, okay, and then I'll continue for another year and another year and another year, okay? So does that make sense? How to know from a financial point of view, is this project viable? All right. So let's say I work it out, get my total number of realistic customers, and I can earn, let's say, 100,000 on my total cost of $1 million. All right. So then I can say it'll increase maybe year over year. So it means that I recover my cost in maybe 8 years. And after 8 years, it's pure profit. Am I willing to work 8 years and then start making a lot of profit after that? Right? So that's just something you have to think about in your financial analysis to decide, once you've chosen the project, if it is financially viable. Okay? A quick way of doing it is, what is my total potential income? What are my total expenses? What if I cut the income in half and double the expenses? Do I still make a profit? That's a quick way of doing it. But this one will give you more realistic details. All right? So any question about that? Okay? So that's how to determine if it's financially viable. All right, now let's get back to the mind. You heard law of attraction. I call it a magnetic center. So magnetic center means the more I think about one thing, the more powerful the magnetic force is around that thing. Now, you know static electricity. If you rub two pieces of metal, you generate an electric field, and that becomes magnetic, if it's the right kinds of metal. The faster you rub, the stronger the force becomes, okay? So the more you think about your project, once you've decided that's the project I like, and then you've done the financial analysis and you have the confidence, I can make good money at it. The more you think about it, the more good things, opportunities, customers will come. Okay? So that's pretty simple, basic. But if you do not, now this is for your life, right? Your business, your whole life revolves around that. But if you do not have a clear goal and you're working and you think, oh, I should do the ironing, oh, I want to eat chocolate cake, I want to go for pizza, your mind keeps drifting to different things. You don't develop a strong magnetic center for your goal. Okay? And when that happens, you do get things, except it's a bunch of rubbish. Distractions, problems, waste of money, accidents, whatever happens. Okay? That's what will come. So the point of this last bit of today's talk is to say, find your clear goal, find the project that is right for you, know why you want to do it, do the analysis to say it is financially viable to achieve my goal, and then just think about it all the time, because then it'll work better. You'll get more opportunity. So saying it the other way, if you want things to work out, you need to find something that you have the faith that will give you your life goal. Okay? I could run through today's slides backwards to show you the point, but I'm sure, I mean, you can watch a video, right? So everything I said today is leading you. Do you want this or do you want the other one? You know where, well, okay, it's just balls, but let's say they're gold. Little balls of gold, all right? Which way do you want your life to go, all right? So everything today was to lead you to that, to say you need to have a single-minded focus that is consuming you all the time. You cannot begin by being an entrepreneur with 20 companies. You have to begin with one. Build your focus. Make that succeed by having the faith that it's right for you and it will make money. And it will lead you to what you want to be when you die, to your life goal. Okay, that's the end of today. Wow, okay, 3 minutes late, not bad. All right. So questions? Questions, comments, anything you want. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so you've got your exercises. So next week you'll have the things and we'll go deeper into that. But you see how it is. It's a combination. We are a mind that thinks and has emotions, and we are a body that wants to live a life. So you have to develop both, right? Okay?
So what will we do with the exercise that the fear and the inhibition? So what we need that about that and what for the next step?
The fear and the inhibitions?
Yeah, the bottom and what can we do with that? And now we know about that and what can we do?
How to deal with your fears and inhibitions? Okay, well, once you know what they are, I was scared of heights, so I learned to fly an airplane. I was scared of water, so I bought a kayak and would go on the sea every day. So once you know what your fears and inhibitions are, you have to start doing the opposite. So like we were saying, if you are shy and you don't want to be seen, so you only wear black and gray, so nobody notices you, you start to wear bright colors. So finding what your fears and inhibitions are, and then you have to start doing the opposite. Because a fear doesn't start as a fear, okay? A fear and inhibition starts as just something I did today, or something I felt today. And then I do it again tomorrow, and again tomorrow, and again tomorrow. Or I hear something and then they say it again tomorrow, and again the next day, and again the next. So a fear is nothing more than a habit. It's not actually a fear. It's a habit which is you become habitually scared of a certain thing. So you have to break the habit by doing the opposite of what you fear. Okay? And that, of course, is difficult. Like breaking any habit is difficult. So you need to list all your fears and inhibitions and then make a second column of what is the opposite of each thing, and then you have to start doing that. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is, once you are working with this, even if you don't care about making a business, you do these exercises, it will build greater confidence in yourself and expand your ability to think more creatively. So it helps break the habitual pattern of the thoughts you've had up until now. So when your mind starts to think a different way, that also helps you get rid of fears which may be unrelated in the topic, you know, the type of fear, but it'll help you become more confident, because a fear means you doubt yourself. I'm scared that I will not be able to deal with this situation, so I'm scared. Like, for example, again, flying, right? Let's say you're scared of flying because you're there at the mercy of the pilot. What if the pilot dies, has a heart attack? What will happen? You will crash. But I can say, throw him out of the seat, I'm getting in the seat, and I can fly the plane. So I'm not scared of flying because I know I can control the situation. Okay. So a fear means you don't know what will happen if the thing you fear happens. You'll have no control, which means you don't have confidence in yourself to deal with any situation. But if you have great self-confidence in yourself, great confidence in yourself, knowing you can deal with anything, then you don't have any fears or inhibitions because you have nothing to fear. You can deal with it. You know you can. Okay? And you develop that by always doing the best you can just for the sake of doing the best you can. Because when you do everything to the best of your ability, you develop a great confidence in yourself, knowing that you can do anything. Because you just, through your life, have proven anything I do, I did really well. So if I've done 50 different things really well, there's no reason I couldn't do the next 50 things really well. So all of that gives you the confidence that basically proves your fears and inhibitions are not valid. And they just simply disappear on their own. Okay? All right. Any other questions? No? That's it? Okay? So then, yeah, we'll see you next week. And again, I'll post the video and give you the access on YouTube. And any questions on the WhatsApp group? Yeah? Good, good. Okay, great. All right.